Good evening and a warm welcome to this session where RISA brings to your understanding the significance of World No Tobacco Day. Riyadh Initiative Against Substance Abuse, RISA, took shape in the city of Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in the year 2012. The RISA activity got official recognition from National Committee of Narcotics Control, KSA, in March 2013. To begin with, a dedicated 17-member team in Riyadh, RISA could extend the volunteer team to various provinces in the kingdom and other Middle East countries as well as in India. As of December 2021, we have the credit of conducting 95 awareness programs in various settings.
I am Karunakaran Pillai, State Coordinator in Kerala. I have been associated with the Subarkunj Foundation and RISA for almost a decade in all its activities and campaigns against the use of tobacco and other substances which are harmful to human life. World No Tobacco Day is observed every year on 31 May. This year, WHO adopted theme is Tobacco, a Threat to Environment. On this day, RISA is doing its part with increased focus on health and environment by rephrasing the theme Tobacco, a Threat to Human Health and Environment. And this will be widely discussed and propagated through a webinar organized with the participation of eminent personalities and experts from various walks of life, such as medical, educational, and socio-economic sectors. I am confident that the webinar will bring out the right messages across the society and benefit all. Thank you.
You would have watched the activities through video RISA. 31st May, it's observed as World No Tobacco Day. WHO and public health champions around the world are making World No Tobacco Day this year by focusing on the many ways in which tobacco threatens the environment we live in. The 2022 global campaign aims to raise public awareness about the environmental impact on the entire tobacco cycle, from its cultivation, production, and distribution to toxic waste it generates. The campaign will also aim to expose the tobacco industry's effort to greenwash its reputation and to make its products more appealing by marketing them as environmentally friendly. Our President, Dr. Abdulaziz Zubair Kunju, will do the presidential address. To talk about Dr. Abdulaziz Zubair Kunju, he took the legacy of his father, Sir Zubair Kunju, and devoted his life to the selfless service of humanity. It is his dream to have a tobacco-free world or a world against all addiction. With this in mind, and a few like-minded people, RISA, Riyadh Initiative Against Substance Abuse, took shape. Now I would request Doctor to do the honors. Sir.
Welcome speech was actually endorsed to our state coordinator from Kerala, Mr. Karunakaran. He couldn't enter because of the traffic in the line. In his absence, on behalf of him, I would like to welcome all of you. We have a lot of guests inside. So let me introduce some of the important dignitaries attending the session. First of all, let me welcome Dr. Saeed Rahman, the Associate Deputy Executive Director of Family Medicine and Primary Healthcare, King Abdulaziz Medical City, Ministry of National Guard Health Affairs, Riyadh, to this great event. Secondly, we have a great personality, an UN representative, Mr. Murali Tummarugudi. Though we informed him very lately, in 16-hour notice, he agreed to join. He was in Riyadh yesterday, he's coaching right now, and I am warmly welcome him to this program. All our presentators are eminent figures, they are part of the RISA. I would like to welcome Dr. Naseem Akhtar Qureshi, who is a consultant psychiatrist who is going to present tobacco, a threat to human and environmental health. Let me welcome Dr. Thambi Velapan. He has been doing the smoking classes for more than 95 sessions he took since the starting of the RISA program in 2012. A warm welcome to Dr. Thambi Velapan also. Next is the main pillar of RISA, Dr. Bharathan. He is the consultant of RISA. Let me welcome him to this great event. We have Dr. Raju Varghese. He is a consultant anesthesiologist. He is also a founder member of RISA, and he is presenting how you can fight against the tobacco epidemic. A warm welcome, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Mrs. Ruxana. She's a child psychologist expected to join from Bangalore to this great event. Our Padmini Madam. She is again our one of the main pillar of RISA. And also I would like to welcome Mrs. Meera Rahman, she's principal of the Indian Embassy School, Riyadh. She's also part of the RISA in 10 years. I welcome all the principals, teachers, doctors, public figures, community leaders, media people, all to this great event. We have many dignitaries from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kerala, other states. Pardon me if I missed any of the important names. Consider this as a warm welcome to each and everyone who is attending this great function. My special regards to our children who has done a very good job in most of the schools. I got some of the videos that some schools have conducted procession to mark the occasion of No Tobacco Day. I am just cutting short my speech. I would like to extend my sincere thanks and regards to those who are giving continuous uninterrupted support to the RISA program for the past 1 decade. You know, we have the recognition from the National Committee for Narcotic Control, Minister of Interior, Government of Saudi Arabia, and also we got the recognition from the UNODC as a member in the civil society. We are in the edge of getting a membership in ECOSOS, it's a consultancy status. We are on the way of conducting 10,000 free online training programs, which our Honorable Ambassador Dr. Ausaf Said inaugurated a year ago. I'm not going to the details of the RISA activities. Those who are interested can see our 2 websites, the Subair Foundation website, skfoundation.online, and also our TOT online website. And I conclude my speech. Thank you very much. Let's have a nice discussion ahead. Thank you, ma'am. Please proceed.
Thank you, Doctor. Here we would like to begin with our inauguration ceremony, and I would request Dr. Saeed Rahman, Associate Deputy Executive Director, Family Medicine and PHCC, King Abdulaziz Medical City, Ministry of National Guard Health Affairs, Riyadh, to do the honors. A beacon of light of confidence and sophistication can aptly be called for this great personality. Sir.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for this warm welcome. I've been working with Dr. Abdulaziz Kunju for quite a few years now. He's a very active person in our department regarding promotion of public health. And as you all are probably aware that he's also a tobacco treatment specialist certified by the Massachusetts University. And he's been playing a very active role in fight nicotine addiction in our hospital. And I thank him from the bottom of my heart that he has invited me today and given me this opportunity to speak with this August House, so many dignified people and some very young minds, which I'm very happy to see. My background is in public health. So from the days of my learning, I've been involved in some way about tobacco control and smoking cessation. And for us, we need to understand, probably a lot of people will talk about it today also, but I think a little look back into the history of tobacco and how it came out to become such a big industry. And then at the end of the previous century, there was a turnaround in the general thinking about, the harms of tobacco, and some serious work was done, especially in the United States, because tobacco pretty much comes from there. It started off from there. Didn't exist before until the reached U.S. And, at that time, America, or the mainland, and they found Native Americans, enjoying the smoke, and so there, of course, it became a big industry, and now they got everybody hooked to it. In the 1990s, there was a shift. The health, especially the healthcare industries, realized that the tobacco industry has not been forthright with us. They have not been honest with the public about full effects, particularly about the addiction component of nicotine. And they have been manipulating nicotine levels inside cigarettes so that they become more addictive. And so they even got to the point of starting to grow tobacco. Once the health industry got into like a head-on, fight with the tobacco industry, they realized that we've been spending a lot of money and people have been dying because of tobacco. And I mean, people knew about it, but a lot of studies and material got collected since the 70s onwards. If you go back to the 1950s or 40s, there were times when doctors were advertising to smoke. They were telling people smoking is good for you. Then once the tobacco industry realized that, if you smoke, your taste buds, they kind of die out. And so you lose taste of food and you don't enjoy food anymore. You end up staying, not eating much. You don't enjoy food anymore, and so you don't eat that much. And so people started to become slim. So they started in the 70s and 80s. They started with this, what they call maybe perhaps even earlier, they started calling it, they were starting to sell cigarettes to women, and with models, pictures of models and tall and slim women, just trying to show that, if you smoke cigarette, you will stay slim and look like a model. Again, it was part of their campaign. And another example is, if you guys are familiar with something called the Benson and Hedges cigarette, they did research on this, and they said, if a man has a feeling of, gold in his hand, or has a feeling that he's holding a gold brick in his hand, makes him feel rich. So they changed the cigarette box with the golden wrapping. So when you're smoking and you have this golden wrapped cigarette in your hand, you feel like you're rich. So they did a lot of research into marketing and into human psychology they were way ahead of the physicians, and physicians were on the other end trying to treat the complications and the harmful effects of smoking, trying to deal with the problems. So the research kind of, started to shift this way. Before this, doctors found out that nicotine is addictive. And by smoking, it leads to, of course, other drug tryouts. So a person who smokes ends up trying other drugs, which they shouldn't be trying at all, which are even more harmful. So smoking is something that's where it starts. Then they also learned, studies were done by physicians and found out that if you started smoking early, at an earlier age, as a teenager, it is harder for you to quit. Now, this is something that perhaps the smoking industry knew very well, and they were trying to advertise to the younger people, younger population. And even in the 1990s, if you are familiar with the Camel cigarette, which has a camel on it, it's been there since I think the Second World War, or maybe even before that. They started coming up with cartoons, and they had these cool camels who were riding a bike, wearing cool shades, and and smoking a cigarette. It was a cartoon. They had huge billboards, and they were showing that oh, if you smoke, you will, you will. So it's a cartoon, and who is attracted to cartoons? Young children, even less than 10 years of age. So what they were trying to do is trying to capture capture a market which was younger than adults or even teenagers. And quickly everybody started to realize, and then in the end of 1990s, there were, of course, for those of you who probably have seen that movie Insider with Al Pacino and Russell Crowe, the guy in I think what's it called, the Gladiator movie. It's a true story. If you have a chance, please see that movie. It's worth seeing. You will learn a lot about. He was in
Gladiator.
Sorry?
Gladiator is the movie's name.
Yes, Gladiator is the movie's name. But then there's another movie called Insider, which is based on a true story in which Russell Crowe, he plays a PhD biochemist doctor who used to work for the tobacco industry, and he becomes the whistleblower. So what he does, he tells everybody that, the tobacco industry has been doing this research and they've been manipulating nicotine levels. And so he was like one of the first whistleblowers, and it was not easy for him. But after that, a lot of laws came out, and health industry and health insurance started to sue. Even different states started to sue tobacco industry. It was about to go bankrupt in the United States, and then they realized, then they had a settlement in the time of President Bill Clinton at that time, I think. So in the late 1990s, they did the settlement, and then they said we will not advertise, to the children, and we will have smoking cessation programs, not to get the children involved. And so it's been a struggle, but of course, outside the United States, there's not too much restrictions. Every country is learning on their own what's going on. And Saudi Arabia, they have a very good drive about making Makkah and Medina smoke-free. So, and your efforts in educating the young minds about staying away from cigarettes and all the harmful effects that it has on young people, it's very valuable, the work that you are doing. We have to remember that whenever we are trying to change somebody's behavior, or we are doing marketing or going in that direction, we have to do work on different ways to change behavior. So sometimes we have to do enforcement by changing the laws. Sometimes you have to educate people about the harmful effects or the benefits of quitting, and sometimes you have to provide an enabling environment. You have to encourage people to quit. So all these things matter. Involvement of the government in preventing cigarettes being available that easily, providing those who are addicted to nicotine, providing them with help, understanding that nicotine addiction is a chronic disease. It has relapses. You can treat it, but at the same time, people relapse, so you have to help them again and again. So all these factors have to come into play, and find alternatives for tobacco growers as well. So I will stop here. I know we started late, and I would again appreciate, I'd say thanks to everybody who is listening and are interested in knowing about smoking cessation and controlling tobacco. It's a multi-dimensional or multifaceted approach that you have to take to control tobacco. We don't have those kind of funds that tobacco industry has, but definitely it has made a big effect, especially in the healthcare. You hardly find anybody smoking in the hospitals. No doctors or nurses smoke in many parts of the world. Over here, we still have some problems. We have almost still 30% physicians smoking. We did some studies in our hospital. And of course, other staff also smokes. We found that also that a lot of soldiers and officers smoke, about 50%. Now with this new time, in the new era, about 15% of young ladies are also smoking. So there are a lot of challenges, but I think your approach towards trying to educate and also bring about a policy change at the government level, I think it will, inshallah, help a lot in making people healthier and making them, move them away from cigarettes and other smoking habits. I hope somebody talks about vaping, because that's also another big problem that's coming up, and it's spreading all over the world. It is probably less harmful than cigarettes, of course, but it still is harmful. So once again, thank you very much, Dr. Kunju in particular, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak and in front of everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Thambi. His message for today is to talk of Dr. Thambi. He's a great personality, perfect blend of gentleness of nature and a magic touch when it comes to children. Doctor?
A very happy good evening to all. RISA webinar in association with Subair Kuny Foundation on tobacco, a threat to human health and environment. Respected Chair, Dr. Abdul Aziz, Dr. Saeed Rahman, Dr. Qureshi, Dr. Bharadhan, Dr. Raju, Murli Tummarugudi, and RISA and Subair Kuny Foundation family, and all dignitaries, guests, media people. WHO observes today as World No Tobacco Day. As you all know, we have a big team of experts to enlighten you about this. I would like to say a few words about teenage smoking on the basis of WHO directions. CDC says any kind of tobacco products are unsafe for kids, teens, and young adults. Millions of young people between 13 to 15 years are on tobacco products. CDC survey says tobacco companies spend billions of dollars every year on marketing tobacco products. Since 1988, WHO observed World No Tobacco Day to highlight harmful effects. This year, WHO focused on prevention of youth from tobacco products. But tobacco industry tries to attract youth. World No Tobacco Day learned that individuals and communities can do help youngsters tobacco free or quit it for good. Percentage of teenagers or high schoolers are rising. Most of adult smokers started smoking before 18 years. Nicotine is an addictive drug available in tobacco. It harms the brain development. Up to 25 years, it can harm parts of brain that control attention, learning, mood, and impulse control. Second-hand smoking is a danger at home, otherwise passive smoking, home as well as outside. 500 million is exposed, and children between 3 to 10 years are at high exposure. Quitting and adopting a smoke-free policies helps to protect the health of non-smokers. Targeting youngsters and becomes dependent on nicotine. Industry uses this information to attract more youngsters through advertisements and sponsorships, online media, and cultural events. Studies at US and others shown that more the advertisements youngsters see, the more they use tobacco products. Seeing people smoke in movies make youngsters smoke more. Flavors in tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, like menthol cigarette, helps to start to use e-cigarette. Danger of e-cigarette: since 2014 in US, e-cigarette percentage has increased. New ones with nicotine salt or nicotine salts makes it easy to inhale it at a very higher level. US banned flavored e-cigarettes because of the rise in the use of it is very high. High school students, it is more among the high school students, and CDC offers resources for parents, teachers, and healthcare providers. And what you can do to control this menace? Everyone, those who influence the youth directly to whole communities, can help prevent children, teenagers, and young adults from trying tobacco products. Parents and caregivers can set good example by tobacco free for help quitting. Now children watch and talk about tobacco on screen. Tell children not to smoke or use tobacco products and quit or stop smoking or stop using them. Refuse to give tobacco to kids, teens, and young adults. Healthcare persons talk to parents to stop or to quit smoking, as well as ask patients to quit smoking. States and communities can fund tobacco control programs, work to limit the tobacco products and advertisements, use scientific strategies to prevent tobacco use. A glimpse of data regarding this teenage smoking is very dangerous, very shocking. Around 40 million US adults still smoking. 2.55 million students smoke every day. Every day they are smoking. And every day 1,600 US students smoke first cigarette below 18 years. Each year, 500,000 people die of tobacco-related causes, and 16 million people suffer with serious illness related with tobacco smoking. US spends $225 billion for the treatment of tobacco and its related problems. If everyone works together to keep youth safe from harms of tobacco use, we can move further towards a healthier smoke-free world. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We would request Dr. Bharathan AV. And his topic for today is tobacco and visual problems. Dr. Bharathan?
Good evening to all of you. Today we are observing the No Tobacco Day as sponsored by WHO. And usually every year the RISA team is holding webinars like this for many years. And when I attend this webinar from Kerala, I am becoming much nostalgic and evoke the memories of how I was associated with RISA in Saudi Arabia for nearly 10 years. I am happy to see that the RISA activities are still going on very smoothly. And I congratulate Dr. Abdul Aziz and the RISA team, for RISA team, the activities we are still continuing. This year, the theme of tobacco, No Tobacco Day is tobacco, a threat to environment. I remember I think it was in the year 1985, the theme of WHO for this No Tobacco Day was smoking or health, the choice is yours. And now the WHO has come, not only our health, it has come with the damage to the environment that the tobacco causes. Therefore, rightly we have chosen the theme, tobacco, a threat to human health and environment. And I am requested to talk on the harmful effects of tobacco on our vision, tobacco and visual problems. When we talk about the visual problems associated with the tobacco, we should consider two toxic chemicals that is contained in the tobacco smoke. They are carbon monoxide and nicotine. There is 2 to 6% of carbon monoxide in tobacco. And when this carbon monoxide enters our lungs through the air we smoke from the tobacco smoke, there is the tendency for the hemoglobin in our blood to bind with carbon monoxide than with oxygen. As a result, what happens is that the binding of oxygen with the hemoglobin in our body, inside our body, is reduced. And as a result, the oxygen that is reaching all the tissues of the body is proportionately getting reduced. This result for shortage of oxygen in our body, and naturally all our body organs are suffering, mainly the eyes, which are very delicate organs. The second chemical is nicotine. It is famous for its narrowing vessels activity, which is called vasoconstriction. And these vessels become very stiff and less elastic, and naturally the oxygen that is carried through these vessels also get reduced, and that also causes reduction in our oxygen capacity, binding capacity of the tissues, and result in the damage of the whole body, and equally proportionately, sometimes more proportionally, more for the eyes, because eyes are very delicate organs. I would like to mention some of the effects of this tobacco smoke on our eyes. As all of you know, eyes are very precious organs, very small organs in the body, but have very great functions and very precious functions of the body, that is our sight. The first thing that the tobacco causes is called what is called hyperemia of the eyes. All of you know, a chronic smoker will always having a redness of his eyes, and people think that he has consumed alcohol also when we see that those red eyes. This is mainly due to the damage because of the vessels in the conjunctiva. There is narrowing of these vessels and elasticity is lost, and it always remains very red. Once the person withdraws smoking, gradually the vessels regain its normal original elasticity, and this redness gradually disappears. This is called what is called chronic hyperemia of eyes. The second condition is dryness of eyes, what is called as dry eye syndrome. Due to this digital strain and all, we know, especially during this COVID pandemic, the dryness of eyes is increasing a lot. And sometimes the largest use of eye drops in the world now is for artificial tears. The market has risen, I think, more than 500%. The sale of these artificial tear drops has increased all over the world due to the digital lifestyle only. And the smoking adds to it, and it adversely affects the structure of the tear film. Though we think that the tear fluid is a simple thing, it is not so. It has 3 layers. It has an inner mucin layer, a middle lipid layer, and also an outside aqueous or watery layer. And when the structure of this tear film is lost, there is more increased dryness of the eyes, and tobacco naturally increases the dryness and also all the symptoms and allergic symptoms associated with this dryness of eyes. That is what we called as tobacco-related dry eye syndrome. And the third condition is what is called uveitis. Most of you may be knowing that the eyeball is having 3 coats. There is an outermost coat that is comprising of the cornea, the transparent part of the eye, and the white that is called the sclera. And there is a middle coat which is comprised of iris, ciliary body, and choroid. And is an inner part, the third layer, that is the retina, most sensitive layer of the eye. And this middle coat is affected by the smoke. There is inflammation of the middle layer of this eyeball. And in the long term, it is called chronic uveitis. And later on, it leads to complications like cataract, glaucoma, and also even the retinal detachment. It is a potential blinding disorder. That is the effect of this tobacco on long use on this uvea. That is a second coat, the middle coat of the eyeball. And the fourth one is cataract. All of you know, cataract is affecting the lens of the eye, which is a transparent part inside. The lens is avascular, it doesn't have blood vessels because it is a transparent thing. The light rays has to pass through it. Therefore, it is a very transparent one, and it is getting its nutrients from the surrounding fluid called aqueous humor. And this structure of this aqueous humor is also affected by this tobacco smoke, and less antioxidants reach the lens. As a result, the nutrition is suffering, and it becomes gradually cloudy, and gradually the person, the chronic smoker, becomes blind due to cataract. Fortunately, there is no treatment for cataract now with the intraocular lens implantation, and the vision can be saved when then the person gets cataract at a younger age than usual. And the fifth one is most important thing, that is retinal disorders that is caused by tobacco. Tobacco directly doesn't cause that much retinal diseases, but when persons who are having some retinal disorders, then this tobacco aggravates the condition. And one such condition is called age-related macular degeneration. The macula is a central part of the retina. It is the most sensitive part, and our central vision is controlled by this macula. And when there is any disorder affecting the macula, naturally the central vision gets affected. There is 4 times higher risk of macular degeneration occurring in smokers than non-smokers, and also there is 3 times severity for it than in non-smokers. And the result is what is called central scotoma. Scotoma is a blind space, what is called as blindness in the field, an area which is blind. Unfortunately, it is the central area of the vision. And when I was in Saudi Arabia, I have seen so many cases. Usually, these truck drivers, heavy vehicle drivers, they ride the vehicle, the trucks for 24 to 48 hours without any rest. And throughout, they are chain smokers. One after one, they smoke cigarette. And I have seen so many persons complaining that they are unable to ride their vehicle because centrally they are not seeing anything clearly. Especially at night, they find it very difficult to ride the vehicle. That is due to the central scotoma caused by macular degeneration. That is a very dangerous situation for the truck drivers, and even their daily work is adversely affected by that. Another one is what is called toxic optic neuropathy. The optic nerve is the nerve that carries the signals for sight from our eyes to the brain. And due to this decreased blood flow throughout the body and also in the eye also, there is damage to optic nerve and there is irreversible loss of vision. It cannot be reversed once it is affected. That is what is called toxic optic neuropathy. And another one is what is called as retinal vascular diseases. As the blood flow to the eye is adversely affected, repeated smoking, chronic smoking, it causes hardening of the retinal vessels inside the retina, which is called arteriosclerosis. And mainly three vascular conditions like central retinal vein occlusion, branch retinal vein occlusion, and central artery occlusion. All these are happening which are adversely affected. If one is affected with central artery occlusion, it is difficult. Practically, his vision is gone forever. And smoking causes such a dangerous situations often we have seen. And also many other eye diseases like diabetic retinopathy, thyroid problems like hyperthyroidism are adversely affected by this smoking. Smoking affects the diabetic retinopathy, and 2 or 3 times they have the more risk of developing total blindness than the non-smokers. And also this hyperthyroidism, what is one condition called Graves' disease, there is exophthalmosis, there is inflammation of the soft tissues, the muscles of inside the around the eyeballs, and the both eyes come outside. It's called a very ugly and unhealthy and dangerous situation. When we see, we get frightened like that. Who does in such cases? It is called exophthalmosis or proptosis. This is caused by smoking. It is not caused by smoking, but already hyperthyroidism is there. This exophthalmosis is aggravated by use of smoking. And the final thing I should like to say is about smoking in pregnancy. Our chief guest of the day, Dr. Saeed Rahman, has already told that nowadays almost 15% of women have started smoking. We are thinking that gradually the drugs are replacing the tobacco, but why Dr. Thambi also said that what the condition is US now. The smoking is there and the use of drugs also is comparatively, proportionally at a higher rate, it is increasing. And the smoking in women causes, especially during pregnancy, it transfers dangerous toxins to the placenta and thus it harms the fetus in utero. It increases the chances for development of very serious fetal and infantile conditions like squint, that is crossed eye, and also hypoplasia of optic nerve, that is called underdevelopment of the optic nerve. The nerve I have told you already, it carries a signal from the eyes to the brain. That is also affected, and that vision of the child is affected permanently after delivery. Therefore, there are so many conditions that the eye is suffering due to smoking, and I don't want to elaborate more because all the time is usually late. I think our students should go and study more about this through net and all. And the take-home message today I would like to tell you is, if you are a non-smoker, avoid your first puff forever. And if you are a smoker, avoid your next puff forever, so that you can save your eyes and vision forever. Thank you all for this painful hearing. Thank you very much. Hope that this session will be useful to all of you.
Thank you, Doctor. Actually, Dr. Bharathan, we are really missing you here in Riyadh. He has always been constant and in his commitment and his selfless service towards RISA. Let's now invite Dr. Raju Varghese, and he will be speaking on the topic, how can you join the fight against the tobacco epidemic? Dr. Raju Varghese.
Respected dignitaries, my colleagues, speakers, friends, and family. So today, actually, I think my topic for they give us on how can you fight against tobacco epidemic. Today, 31st of May, is a day we make a special day, no tobacco day. Every year, individuals, organization, both government and non-government organizations and various sectors came together as part of this campaign. This initiative started exactly 15th May 1987. But the first to celebrate, it was on 7th April 1988. Then, under the auspices of WHO, World Health Organization, it changed and then they make 31st of May every year to celebrate this tobacco day. It is really alarming to see the rate at which tobacco consumption is rising. Even we heard from Dr. Saidi that even among the physicians, among the doctors, almost 20% of physicians are smoking. Okay, tobacco consumption not only has ruined individuals, body and health, but it ruins the person's life completely along with the family, friends, society, and as a nation. There are so many positive initiatives done by different organizations in a different way, how to implement and practice stop smoking completely. Ban on smoking in public area. That is one of the first initiative, and it was, we can say, almost many countries it is implemented and very successful. And such as public transport, colleges, schools, health institutions, theater, restaurants, offices are few of them. Then come public awareness programs, seminars, they have lectures, articles, pamphlets, discussion, messages, and a total ban of any kind of smoking in any kind of public or private gathering. Discourage tobacco-linked comprehensive promotion, advertisements, sponsorship of any kind, scholarship, graphic label, sexy advertisements, especially from film stars, dignitaries, sports personalities, leaders of any kind. The another important factor which I thought about, brief advice from health professionals, especially the physician, the doctors, they can do a lot. Explaining the hazardous side effect of any kind of smoking, strict norms and regulations. Actually, being an anesthetist, in my own experience, I have seen that, and even the American Society of Anesthesiologists very strictly implemented some criteria before giving anesthesia for any surgical procedure, even for regional as well as general anesthesia. They prefer at least 3 months, preferably 6 months, just stop smoking before going any kind of minor or major surgery. Even it can help the wounds healing of surgical procedure. And then the other form of positive community training, along with the schools, colleges, can do a lot to educate at the early age itself the consequence, side effects, hazards of smoking. Then another thing is the taxation. Definitely it will work very much if it implemented in a positive way. High tax will affect. Despite, in India, what I'm telling, despite 18% of world population, the tobacco consumption in India is just 2%. You may be surprised, but it is true. But the fact is that the remaining are a form of tobacco consumption like e-cigarettes, smokeless tobacco, sweeteners, chewing gum, BD, hookahs, pan masala, and all these are equally bad for health. But actually what they are doing, just evade the tax, and government is protecting them also to some extent. That means actually the majority of our smokers in even in Kerala or in total India, we can say majority are the non-cigarette, but in different forms of that. But it is really harmful to the health. And tobacco taxation in India is, frankly, I'd say, is unethical. Unethical means, I'd say, because of their encourage and doing the cigarette manufacturing companies to feed its coffers. They want only revenue. The tough and strict implementation will help, but our vendors are more interested for their profit. Actually, what I have seen in Northern America or Western Europe, they have certain limits for age to buy and consume the cigarette. But they are very strict about it. The vendors, they won't give, even though they will get profit, they won't give. If they're doubt about children, they're coming underage. Specific case, some countries are 16, some countries are 18, but they won't give at all. If they're doubtful, they can ask the ID and they can deny. But here, even what I have, even a 5-year-old boy or a girl, if they go to a vendor or a supermarket, if they ask for a cigarette packet, they will give it. Because these people, they are individually, they are interested in their profit. I mean the unethical. This is what I say. And then youth group. And this year, actually, I think Dr. Thambi said like that, this is the youth. The youth, actually, definitely we can do. The youth can do a lot, a lot. That's I mean, just to restrict or implement this ban of tobacco. Then other groups are parents, teachers, close friends, close relatives. They can also positively, they can guide the guys not to smoke or abandon them. The other fact is the film, television, serials can give positive impact. Unfortunately, our government interested to get more revenue, whatever may be the consequence. We can see what happened in Kerala last 2 to 3 years. They said step by step, they will reduce the consumption and the number of outlets. But what happened in last 3 years, you can see that recently also, it's a triples. The liquor shops and then other kind of bar and other related things are there. It is almost tripled. Our spendthrift government mainly interested revenue. Whatever the means, they are not interested. I mean, it's health issues, whatever it is, actually what they want, the revenue. It is not at all true. There, one other argument, our government argument is that alcohol consumption may reduce the tobacco and drug abuse. Absolutely wrong. It is exactly the opposite. We have to say a loud, strong no to the tobacco smoke or any kind of this abuse. Lots of health hazards due to smoking. 20% of all kinds of cancer is due to smoking, mainly lungs, oral, stomach, pancreas, and etc. There are 7,000 chemicals in the cigarette. Out of the few are harmful. Mainly, the one chemical directly related to the risk is nitrosamine. Apart from health issues, both active and passive smoking bring financial problems for the individual, the family, and state as a whole. Smokeless tobacco, that is known, that means it is not banned. There is an assumption that something is not harmful. Yes, it is harmful. Even the electric cigarette or the smokeless tobacco or chewing gum tobacco, oral tobacco, spitting tobacco, snuff, etc., all are equally harmful as the tobacco. There is no safe form of tobacco so far. There are different ways how to treat and prevent tobacco abuse. The first one, actually, many years it is existing the path, known as the nicotine replacement therapy, NRT. It is a small bandage like a sticker applied to your back or arm. Nicotine gum is another form of NRT. Nicotine gum can help people who need the oral fixation of smoking or chewing. Another one is a spray or inhaler. Even this one also can help by giving low doses of nicotine without tobacco use. These are sold over the counter and very easily is available for our. There are some medications that are available. Even some of our physicians, they recommend to use the medication to help for tobacco addiction. Certain antidepressants, antihypertensive drug, even high blood pressure, might be able to help reduce the addiction. Then another way of treatment is psychological and behavior treatment. This kind of behavior and psychological treatment can help the abuser or the user change their thoughts about addiction. They simply work to change the feelings or behaviors your brain associates with the tobacco use. Many other alternatives are there, like yoga, acupuncture, and some other alternatives. More than anything else, what we need is strong willpower. If you have a strong willpower and determination to stop any kind of abuse which is harmful for health, health of individuals, family, community, and state. Now, it's a high time we have to say loudly no to tobacco use of any kind. Okay. Thank you so much, my dear friends.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank
Most
you so
welcome.
much. Next, we have the key message, tobacco, a threat to human health and environment. Dr. Naseem Akhtar Qureshi.
I returned from Saudi Arabia in April 23rd. I joined Al Falah University in Faridabad as a head of the Department of Psychiatry and assistant professor. When we admit a patient with multiple addiction, including smoking, I felt it is very easy to detox the patient for 10 days or 15 days and then continue with medications. Like, for example, if the patient is having comorbid depression or anxiety or general anxiety, seizure disorder, whatever that, we can manage these conditions very well, including after detoxing from alcohol, heroin, and other substance abuse. It is also not very difficult. But I found that smoking is very difficult to treat because rest of the substances we stop completely having any access to this research center, to this rehabilitation center. But smoking is allowed. And I told the owner of this center that please don't allow from the very first day to give any cigarette, bidi, gutka, whatever it is. Doctor, it becomes very difficult. They start manipulating, they want to go out, they want to threaten, and so many things. So my idea is smoking becomes very, very difficult to tackle among those patients who are admitted to the center. Number one. Number two, just now, a couple of hours before, I read one message from eMediX. This is the Indian site, and the latest report about 6.5 lakhs people are dying because of smoking. And I'm sure this is not adequate figure. More than this, people are dying because of cigarette smoking here. Now, cigarette smokers worldwide, let us talk, they expel carbon dioxide, and as a result of this, carbonization of the planet is taking place. WHO is doing very hard job, but their hands are cut off by various companies producing these tobacco products. When I went to my village, I found that every person, if I'm not wrong, if my observation is not correct, everyone is using smoking, gutka especially, and the leaf of tobacco mixed with white, this tuna or something like that, what we call, and they are putting in the mouth and chewing. Believe me, I told most of the people, don't use these tobacco products, non-smoking tobacco products here. So the picture of tobacco use in different form is quite extensive in India. And I think previous author has already talked about the pros and cons, especially the cons of smoking. And I think 100% he's very correct. He told about the carcinogens, how many substances are when people are smoking are produced, So my idea is that it is very, very difficult for the companies to stop smoking products, manufacturing of smoking and non-smoking product of tobacco. It is very difficult. Why? We control the choice of the people. They say like that. So the last author, yeah, he told very nicely that we can treat the comorbid condition of smoking and other multiple drug addictions, very well. And we can detox the patient within 15 days and continuous treatment for another 4 to 5 months. According to WHO, 6 months, stay in the rehabilitation centers. We can do that also. But when we talk about the external milieu, we should talk about the family support should be very healthy to advise the person not to smoke. From family support to social support, the person who is meeting people outside and they're inviting him to smoke or use any substance use, they are caught in a friendship dynamic circle and they start smoking or use any other substance. And then if they don't have any strategic planning, or if after treating the patient with multiple addiction, including smoking, if they do not have strategic planning, for example, employment, they will land up again in smoking and using different substances. And the same cycle keep on continuing, So the end of the day, the patient is treated very well. But once he is going out, he has no family support, good support, positive support, and social support is very bad. So they relapse again and again. And the last but not the least, although emphasized by immediate predecessor speaker, he said that if there is internal motivation, very strong will, very strong motivation to quit smoking and other substances, he can succeed, And I go with his statement 100%. So the smokers are adding fuel to the fire to the climate change. The temperature will continue. It should not go above 1.5 degrees centigrade pre-industrial area. I think all the efforts of these guys, politicians, WHO, as a World Assembly, and whatsoever call, the producer are very strong people. I'm pessimistic a little bit. The temperature will not go 1.5 degrees centigrade. I think this is just speculation. If we succeed not going up 1.5 degrees centigrade, it will be very good for the entire planet. And smoking is one of the biggest, I will not call biggest, but bigger factor, maybe second or third factor, which adds carbonization of the planet, of the atmosphere. How many people are smoking worldwide? How many cigarettes they are smoking every day? How many smokers are chain smokers? 1 packet, 2 packet, 40, 60 cigarettes, and different types of cigarettes now. Vaping. So my point is, I think, and the final point is, the role of the parents should be emphasized in a very definite manner, because one of the cause of smoking is learning theory, and who is the person who will get access to the smoking? If the parents are smoking and they are smoking in front of their children, Oh, come on, your father is smoking, your mother is smoking. Come on, let us smoke, yeah. There's no problem. In the schools, high school, intermediate, and so and so and so. I have practical experience of medical students. They are smoking rampantly. When they go out of class, they start smoking, you know. So smoking is spreading very rapidly nowadays, especially before. What was the prevalence? Men used to smoke much more than the females. Now females are very well competing with the males, and it is increasing smoking in females very much. So at the end, I will say good social support, good family support, no parental smoking in the house or outside, plus internal motivation to quit smoking. If these 4 or 5 factors are good, I think children will never come to smoke any product of tobacco. This message should go to them. Please don't smoke. Smoking is a chronic suicidal behavior, which is very bad behavior. Thank you very much, all the guys who have arranged and organized this meeting. And God bless all of you. Allah bless all of you with bounties and intellectual power to speak in a very excellent manner. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Naseem. Akhtar. Now we come to the end of the presentation sessions. We come to the next session. For this, we have Dr. Hamid, a great personality with a perfect blend of gentleness of nature and administrative caliber. One can aptly say politeness is his middle name when he allies himself to a Persis. He makes sure that he struggles for the realization by putting his heart and soul together. Today, Dr. Hani, Principal MES in the Indian School, Qatar, will be taking up the role of a moderator. Sir?
I'm very much here.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, all of you, distinguished personalities of attending this session. The chair, Dr. Abdulaziz sir, and all the eminent doctors who spoke about the health issues in connection with RISA celebration of Anti-Tobacco Day for this year. My wishes to all of you, and it's my pleasure to be with you in this evening on celebration of World No Tobacco Day under the aegis of RISA, which is a very renowned organization among expats now. From the words of the Abdulaziz sir, who is the chairperson leading this organization forward, we can clearly understand the organization is much appreciated and accepted by many of the community leaders now. And this initiative should continue. From the words of the former speakers, we came across how dangerous the situation is coming in, how dangerous the situation is becoming. Day by day, we thought that cigarette use, tobacco use is coming lesser and lesser, but statistics shows the real fact that this is not decreasing, but it is drastically increasing. One reason probably for this a drastic increase of tobacco use is the easy availability of the substance. My former speakers, doctors, all told about that aspect. Thinking from the health point of view, there are a lot of health issues caused by the consumption of tobacco in one way or the other, whether it is active smoking or passive smoking or non-smoking tobacco products. If it is used orally or sniffing, different types of tobacco products are really harmful for our health And now this year's theme conveys the theme. Dr. Bharathan rightly pointed it out. This year's theme, even UNO has recognized that this tobacco is not only related to individuals, it affects the whole environment. It has become an environmental issue. Day by day, it's posing a threat to the whole environment where we are living in. Instead of this earth being a place, happy place for all the human beings to live, the life of persons, the upcoming generation is going to be miserable just because of the tobacco production, its consumption, its cultivation, and excessive use. One simple reason is the easy availability of the substance. Second one, the effect and impact of media. Social media has a great impact in publicizing, in propagating, and in misguiding the upcoming generation and attracting them towards this tobacco consumption. And they find a pleasure in that. And we all know this at the young age or in the teenage, the students started for their giving a company to their friend, or they just started for fun. Later is very hard to quit. The speakers, Dr. Qureshi and Dr. Said Rahman, they all pointed out this fact very well. So it's a fact. How to eradicate this evil from the society is very difficult, because the one who is behind this promoting these products, behind the advertisements, are big shots. They control the entire world. They sponsor the biggest hangamas held in the world tournaments and world events. Tobacco companies are sponsors. So to escape from tobacco is very difficult, as Dr. Qureshi rightly said. And bringing out a person out of alcohol addiction, out of drug addiction is very easy. But bringing a person out of tobacco addiction is very difficult. So on this occasion, I really appreciate the initiative taken by RISA over many years. The effort is to be appreciated, because a normal effort to have a dream world with no tobacco is not an easy job. We are fighting against big shots, but still we cannot quit. We cannot quit. So we should continue this endeavor in the coming years too. At least it will be useful for some of the people, especially the upcoming generation, to know the health hazards, the problems, health issues, environmental problems, and such issues our young generation students should realize. And our the present generation who is using these tobacco products, they should recognize and realize the harmful impacts of this using of tobacco on their health, on their family issues, on their children, on their family. And there is nothing plus, there is no advantage as far as this tobacco consumption is concerned. There are only disadvantages, but people are addicted to that. So slowly and slowly, our combined effort will be successful. If not today, tomorrow we'll have an impact to be led to lead this whole world into a world of no tobacco. For that, I wish all the very best to all the interviewers of RISA. Even though I am away from Riyadh, I really appreciate the invitation that did to me, and the time when I wasn't serving in Riyadh in modern school, I was very much associated with RISA, and still I am very happy to see that doctor still remembers me, and he gave me an invitation to this forum. And this discussion, this open forum, is again continuing. This last session of today's event is the open forum. I request Ms. Ruxana to take over the session and speak about to initiate the talk about the open forum. in this RISA program. I request all other speakers who are ready to join us to be to take care of the time. And we are running short of time. Within the available short time, we have to convey the big message. And I request all of you to keep the timing, and let's go ahead with this. Once again, I wish all the speakers and all the participants best of luck, and my hearty congratulations to RISA for their great initiative, and keep going. We all are with you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Over to Ms. Ruxana, who is a psychologist from Bangalore.
Assalamu alaikum. A very good evening to all of you.
Assalamu alaikum to all the people on this day. I congratulate RISA for taking this initiative of bringing awareness about tobacco on this No Tobacco Day. First of all, I was listening to all the speakers who were talking about addiction, who were talking about tobacco, who were talking about all these things. I may differ a bit from here because I have been working with the drug addicts and alcoholics for the last 28 years to 30 years, my experience as of now. Right from the age, the child who is of 6 years smoking to a 60-year-old man. So from 6 years to 60 years, if I have to tell my experience, why they are smoking, who is smoking, how they are smoking, when they are smoking, all these are not important. What made them to take the first puff? Is it the loneliness? Is it the anxiety? Is it the curiosity? Is it the offer? Or is it his own urge to take the first puff? So the first puff is the most important thing for us to understand. What made the child to start this first puff? So when he has started the first puff of tobacco in the form of cigarette, later on he doesn't know what is happening and what is not happening, because he is already into that, and the moment he gets stressed, the first thing what he understands is that I have to smoke. Whether he's consuming coffee, whether he's consuming tea, or whether he's standing out, whether he's in a break, all these things matter a lot. Not that, we just take the secondary fact that, okay, he's an addict. He's addicted to smoking. He's a chain smoker. He smokes 2 packs. He smokes. All these things are not important. What has made them to take this initiative? That is the first thing what we have to understand. And when did he start? At what age did he start? So that is again a matter. Nobody, you can see that, nobody has started it at the age of 35 and then he has become addict. No, you can't find such cases. Any person where I meet him when he's 30 years or 35 years, or when he comes to say that, ma'am, I'm unable to stop this, I want to stop this. When the first question is, when did you start? His first trial. And who has offered him? See, if they have first started, they will not just start, just going to a shop and asking, I want a pack of cigarette. No, definitely no. Was it the first a new cigarette or the half cigarette? That also matters a lot. So these are the small things what we have to understand before we say no to the particular boy. Don't take a cigarette, don't smoke, don't buy, okay, don't have it. So these are the few things what we have to understand before we take these awareness things. And just by one day, by having an awareness for one day, we definitely can't make a big difference, because we have been working 365 days, at times 18 hours into 7 days. So in spite of all that, we are able to only see that when 10 smokers come, we can say only 2 we can remove them out of it. So that matters a lot, that how you handle particular case, what addiction, along with tobacco, along with the nicotine supply, what is the other supplies, what is the other demands of his body, what are the other chemicals what he is. If it is only tobacco, yes, fine. But if he's really a chain smoker, then you have to see the other things. Later on, the second stage, what we have to see is what exactly is making him to consume, smoke, like a chain smoker. Why is he addicted? Addiction is nothing but, you have that chain smoking. Like one you have not finished, before that one you complete with the same cigarette, you burn another one. So that is what you have to see. Who is exactly, like supposing for the last 60 years, somebody is just smoking one after meals, after dinner or after breakfast, that has actually no problem. Okay, that has actually no, where we have to really find it is that how many cigarettes, how many packets, and what is the time, when is the time, what makes him to do now also. So the question, what is the most important thing before we start any kind of awareness or any kind of seminars, conference, or rehabilitation of particularly the chain smokers. So this is more important for us. I may differ from the previous speakers because I am into this full time. Maybe that's the reason. I'm a teacher, I'm a special counselor, I'm a counselor for such cases, for drug addicts, for alcoholics, and for this people who are into smoking as chain smokers for a longer time. So it is not an easy thing for any kind of addiction, whether it is nicotine, whether it is ethyl, whether it is chemical, or whether it is any other form of drugs. If I tell you the number of drugs, I think I have a list of it. So let us not get, I will not get into that details. Let me just stick to this tobacco. On this day, this awareness has to be played everywhere, every school. For example, there are boards in every campus. You can see that there are boards. Tobacco is prohibited. Tobacco is not allowed. Anybody who is found with tobacco is in. What exactly is tobacco? You go and ask a teacher. She doesn't know. But there is a big board. When the teacher is not aware about it, what will the child understand? Suddenly there is a child who asks, ma'am, what is tobacco? How far is the teacher educated to explain what is tobacco? Then why that board? So who is giving this curiosity? Who has given the permission for the schools to put these boards? If they have put, what is the awareness? So there are hundreds of such questions what I have been fighting day in and day out. But I would like to congratulate RISA for taking this initiative, and I would also request RISA to have these kind of thing at least every fortnight once. Not that just on the no tobacco day. Let us make it that every day should be a no tobacco day. I wish you all the best. Thank you, RISA, for giving me the opening thing for the open session. I hand over the thing to RISA.
So it's my pleasure to invite Mr. Shihab Kotogad, who is a social worker, well known not only in Saudi Arabia, across the GCC countries. Happy to see you, Shihab, and please proceed with your session. We are here to listen to you.
Thank you. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
I am very happy to see all faces of our Riyadh. Actually, when we are here, seeing a feeling of happiness, because Anifa sir was very dear to us, and Dr. Bharadhan and many Raju doctor and many are here. So thanks for RISA campaign and Dr. Abdulaziz for arranging this meeting. Actually, when through this forum only we can have a link and connectivity, and especially this forum, RISA campaign against substance abuse, and especially regarding the tobacco issue. When we are talking about these things, most speakers already mentioned about the hidden agenda of tobacco industry. We know that even in advertisement, even global events also, the top advertisement person or the name is tobacco industry. So they holding well in many ways. And regarding the environmental issue, when we are spoke about the environmental issue on this day, the tobacco, to produce the tobacco cultivation, the leaves, using more than I think 1.2 billion hectares of land forest using, and the water consuming. See, this is the nature and everything they are using. and they are saying that they are environment friendly. And this is coming through this, many advertisement propaganda, this corporate agenda. And they are also coming in the field of, supporting some humanitarian way. Also, they are supporting, but they are hiddening the agenda. One way they are destroying the nature and the environment. And see, the most carbon dioxide is coming through this cigarette smoking. Is also an environmental issue. So they are producing carbon, and the whale is fighting against the carbon. There are billions of dollars the UN authorities are spending for reducing carbon, because it's harming our environment. Even in the future, we know that the ozone holes, it will also damage, and we may face the oxygen issue. We may face the water issue. So we have to, this association, this team, we should work for the future generation. Means the youth, the team, the youth should aware that the tobacco will harm the future also. So it is a responsibility of us to protect our future. So through this campaign, RISA campaign, so we are in this platform very, very few people. But even though our messages and awareness, it should reach to social media, to the world through many channels. So at least we can do our way and our duty to save our future generation. And especially Dr. Abdulaziz, his initiative in Riyadh, when he was Dr. Bharadhan and other team were in Riyadh, so he initiated many campaigns. And so he became very active leader of a community. I think this is the first association in Saudi Arabia, I think, taking such kind of an initiative. And when we compare with other association, NGO association in Saudi Arabia, even in Saudi authority also, they are not holding such kind of any campaign. So we are happy about Dr. Abdulaziz and RISA team work very tirelessly for this mission to achieve the goal. But our aim is to world of free tobacco. But it will be happening. Maybe it's a dream. Maybe at least we can reduce the use. Nowadays there is a e-cigarette coming. That the people think this as a fashion. E-cigarette smoking, they think it's as a fashion. See, it's also causing a lot of damage to the environment. So the throwing the butts of that cigarettes, that pipe, throwing to the earth, it's also causing many environmental issues. So in many ways, so cigarette is injurious to health. The lot of patient, it's coming, the cancer, lungs cancer, mouth cancer, and many cancer, throat cancer, it's coming through the cigarettes. But the society is still not aware. There are some heroes, they are smoking, very professionally, and the youth, when they are watching a cinema, they keep their model as when smoking cigarette, and especially the college student, they are acting themselves. Because the teenagers are more vended in this trap. So they become the model, and they accepting the model and start cigarette smoking. So the cinema field industry also should aware, and the social media, and even the short film. Also, we should aware that cigarette smoking should be banned, and they should show the message. So it's take the country responsibility. Now in Saudi Arabia, we know that cigarette charge is more, triple now. Even triple, the same amount of cigarette smoking going on. In India, many things are available. Even in school also, hashish. And we know that last day, few days before, some arrested, they are giving cigarette to the heroin, something dangerous to the student. They are giving in campus, near camp to the school. near colleges. So this is happening, but even the police know that agents are there. They are not arresting the main team. Just the carrier only they are arresting, and they are just after 1 month or 2 months they are releasing. Government also not taking strict steps to control this. So we have to write to the government of India, government of Kerala, and all authorities. At least our duty we have to do by this kind of messages, and also by this kind of events, and to control the use of tobacco and other harmful things to the humanity. Very happy to be here, and I am congratulating each and everyone in this section. Our sincere doctors, they are so dedicated, and our principal and our all teams were so dedicated in this mission. So wish you all the best. May God protect us with more health and happiness to be in this platform to do more things for humanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shiab, for your words of appreciation. And of course, it's a motivation for RISA team to undertake more and more future plans and do good for the society. Now, I hope we have no more formal speakers. If anybody wants to speak on this occasion, you can have a meeting will be continued for 10-15 minutes more. So if anybody wants to talk, you can use 2 minutes time. So the forum is open now. If anybody, any of the participants, honorable guests, or any invited guests who joined on this online platform, we want to make this opportunity, make use of this opportunity, please, the forum is open. The maximum time allotted for a speaker is 2 minutes. So I hope that today's session was very useful, informative. And even I got a lot of inputs from the doctors' speeches and the presentations given by the RISA. I have a lot of inputs and takeaways. So such occasions will definitely be an eye-opener for us, and will be an updation for all of us every year about the recent happenings and developments and recent statistics of what's happening around and what's the status of tobacco consumption, its usage, its damages and death rates. All this will be updated. So it's an eye-opener for all of us, how dangerous the situation is. So let's take away the message in this evening to fight against this evil that exists in society by influence of a lot of factors. From our experience, we can say for some of the users, their parents are their models. For some of the users, their role models are their cinema stars or their cricket stars or their players or their heroes. So anyway, this has nothing to do good for any of the human beings. It's only damages our health, mental health, physical health, financial loss, and at the end of the day, the person who is addicted to these tobacco products will be suffering in the last days or years of his life. So to have a healthy life is sure that we should live in a world with no addiction to any sort of substances, be it alcohol, be it narcotics, be it because these days, I think Aziz sir, you can add one more topic of to the next year's celebrating of this World No Tobacco Day, because nowadays it is not only tobacco. Even children, society is addicted to a lot of other things now. By the onset of pandemic, by the emerging of pandemic over the 2 years time, we all were passing through a very tough time. But out of this pandemic time, a lot of other addictions have come in. A lot of new addictions have come in, like social media addiction to gadgets, addiction to a lot of other substances. So if you think of some 10-15 years from now back, we'll see tobacco was the biggest problem. But now there are bigger problems than tobacco that exist, even pose a threat to the security, safety, and health issues of the upcoming generation. So in our campaign, I hope we are including all these, but the newly emerged problems also can be a part of our future campaign. So anyway, this was a very good occasion with a lot of inputs, with a lot of takeaways, and it was very informative. I really appreciate the initiative taken by the RISA once again to have this sort of campaign for the benefit of entire humanity, because whatever we discuss is not for our sake, is not our family issues. It's the issues faced by the society, which is the responsibility of each and every individual of the society. So I really appreciate once again the initiatives and the time and efforts taken by Dr. Abdulaziz to coordinate and to make this show a grand success, coordinating people from different parts of the world. So once again, my big congratulations and gratitude to RISA team, Ms. Padmini ma'am, Abdulaziz sir, and all the doctors and eminent personalities spoke on this occasion. Thank you very much. Have a great day. And I hope this initiative shall continue. We all are with you. I declare my solidarity with RISA once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your great advice and all. Actually, as you are aware, we are covering all the substance abuse, and also we included the emerging trends like mobile phone addiction, internet addiction, and social media addiction to our RISA campaign program.
Very good.
26th, we have the No Drug Day program. As you know, hundreds of thousands of students from different parts of the world participating in our RISA mass pledge campaign.
Sir, if you communicate and pass me the details, I am very happy to share with all my colleagues. There are 19 Indian schools in Qatar with almost 51,000 students. So I can be very much encourage them, and I can make all of them a part of this campaign.
We will do it. We will do it. This time we will have all the schools in Qatar to involve in this program.
Please.
Every year it is increasing. No, last time it exceeds 100,000. And last time we had a pledge. We included the COVID prevention pledge also. And thank you for your participation as a moderator in this session.
As we come to the conclusion of this event, I would like to call upon Nisar Kallara for the vote of thanks. Nisarji.
അപ്പോൾ ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും വീണ്ടും കാണാൻ സാധിച്ചതിൽ വളരെ സന്തോഷം. അതും റിസയുടെ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ. പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരെ, നമ്മൾ 2012 മുതൽ റിസയുടെ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം റിയാദിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ ഏതാനും 15 പേരിൽ താഴെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ റിസ എന്ന ഈ സംരംഭം നമ്മൾ തുടക്കം കുറിച്ചത്. പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് അഭിമാനിക്കാം, വിവിധ രാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ നമ്മുടെ പ്രോഗ്രാം കാണുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, നമുക്ക് അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാനും കഴിയുന്നുണ്ട്. അതിൽ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ നമ്മൾ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തത് സൗദി അറേബ്യയിലാണ്. ഏകദേശം 1,00,000-ൽ പരം വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളെ നമുക്ക് റിസയുടെ കീഴിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ സാധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിൽ ഞാൻ ഭാഗവാക്കായതിൽ എനിക്ക് അഭിമാനമുണ്ട്. ഇന്നിപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ അർപ്പിതമായത് നമുക്ക് നന്ദി പറയുക എന്നുള്ള ഒരിതാണ്. ഔപചാരികമായെങ്കിലും നന്ദി പറയുക എന്നുള്ളത് ഓരോ പരിപാടിയുടെയും ഒരു പ്രധാന ഘടകമാണ്. നമുക്ക് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ഉദ്ഘാടകൻ ഡോക്ടർ സയ്യിദ് റഹ്മാൻ, അദ്ദേഹം നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാം നാഷണൽ ഗാർഡിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ആ ടൈം അനുസരിച്ച് നമ്മുടെ പരിപാടിയിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുകയും നമ്മുടെ പരിപാടി ഇനാഗുറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്ത അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് റിസയുടെ പേരിൽ നന്ദി രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുകയാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ റിസ ചെയർമാൻ ഡോക്ടർ അബ്ദുൽ-അസീസ്, മോഡറേറ്റർ ഡോക്ടർ മുഹമ്മദ് ഹനീഫ്, ടുബാക്കോ പ്രസന്റേഷൻ നടത്തിയ ഡോക്ടർ അക്തർ ഖുറൈഷി, ഡോക്ടർ ഫരദൻ, ഡോക്ടർ തമ്പി, ഡോക്ടർ രാജു വർഗീസ് എന്നിവർക്കും റിസയുടെ പേരിൽ നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ പ്രമുഖനായ ഒരു പരിസ്ഥിതി പ്രവർത്തകൻ മുരളി തുമ്മാൻകുടി സാറ് നമ്മുടെ പരിപാടിയിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ സാറിനും നമ്മുടെ റിസയുടെ പേരിൽ നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മളെ ബാംഗ്ലൂരിൽ നിന്നുമുള്ള ഡോക്ടർ റുക്സാന, ചൈൽഡ് സൈക്കോളജിസ്റ്റാണ് ഡോക്ടർ റുക്സാന, മാഡത്തിന് നമ്മുടെ റിസയുടെ പേരിൽ നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ കരുണാകരൻ പിള്ള സാർ, റിസയുടെ ആദ്യകാലം മുതൽ തന്നെ ഉള്ള സാറാണ്, നാട്ടിലുള്ള ആളാണ്. വിവിധ സ്കൂളുകളിൽ നിന്നെത്തിയ പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽമാർ, വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനികൾ, നമ്മുടെ റിയാദിലെ സാമൂഹിക പ്രവർത്തകൻ ഷിഹാബ് കൊട്ടുകാട്, പത്രപ്രതിനിധികൾ, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ രാഷ്ട്രീയ, സാമൂഹിക, സാംസ്കാരിക മേഖലയിലെ വിവിധ നമ്മുടെ സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ, റിസ കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങൾ, സൂമിലും യൂട്യൂബിലും നമ്മളെ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരുപാട് നമ്മളെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരായ നമ്മുടെ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. അവർക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇതോടൊപ്പം റിസയുടെ പേരിൽ ഞാൻ നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ റിസയുടെ ഈ പരിപാടി സൂം മീറ്റിങ്ങിൽ ഞങ്ങളെ സാങ്കേതികമായി സഹായിച്ചു കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന പ്രിയ സുഹൃത്ത് ജാഹിറിനും, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സൈൻ, അതുപോലെ ഫർസാന, അവർക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും റിസയുടെ പേരിൽ നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി നമ്മുടെ ഈ പരിപാടിയിൽ പങ്കെടുത്ത എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് എല്ലാവർക്കും ശുഭരാത്രി നേരുന്നു.